Okay, so the recording is in progress. So we have two servers here, DNS primary and DNS secondary.zmpt.com. Okay, so let's go through this here. So very first thing we need to do is we need to change the host name, right? How do we change the host name? So if you look at the document here, yeah, very good. So what you have here is, if you go into hostname, I have a document here. You go to vi etc hostname and put in the hostname whatever you want. Okay, so here I went into this file vi etc hostname and I put it in the name here, dnsprimary.zmpt.com. Okay, all right, so now I saved and exit and I restarted the system. So when you type host name, now you have a proper name for the server here. So you're gonna do it the similar thing for the other host name. So now very first thing you need to do is we need to gather the IP information. You type IPA. Oops. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna use the IP address for ENP0S3. Okay, so even though this server has two IP addresses, I'm not worried about that. In fact, three. So let's use the primary one, ENP0S3. So from here point on, the IP addresses are very important. Okay, so you have to be careful with the IP addresses and the name of the computer, because all these things matter when it comes to the real world environment. Okay, so the next item we have is it's asking us to change the IP address here and make it a static IP address. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. So you do vi etc sysconfig network scripts ifcfg enp0s3. Okay, I'll hit enter here and I'm gonna go through here and get rid of the things I don't need. Okay, I need boot proto. I don't need this.
This is Zafar.
Yeah.
Could you just slow down a little bit?
Okay,
please?
yeah.
Thank you.
Are you here with me right now?
No, I was on typing the vi etc sysconfig and then.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, you can see it right here.
Okay.
Let me make it a bigger here. Okay, so on boot, yes. Then I'm gonna do IPADDR equals. So you have to match the IP address in here. And the Netmask, I think I talked about Netmask, is gonna be the same exact thing most of the time. Netmask equals 255.255.255.0.
The netmasks are all the same, usually, right, Mr. Zafar?
Most of the time, yeah. Even in the work environment, you know what? I'll check it. I'll check it Monday. I'll let you guys know next time.
What was that?
I'll check it at my work and I'll let you know if it's the same at work.
Oh, okay.
But you don't have to worry about those things here anyway, because it's a different team, network team. All they do is networking and IP addresses. They are the one who will be giving you this IP addresses.
Right.
Yeah.
So we basically just added the IP address of this machine to the etc folder or file.
Yeah, we are making a static IP address. Okay? If you don't want the IP address to change next time it reboots, it's possible the IP address could change, right? Remember from the network class?
Right.
The DHCP means so here, very good. So here DHCP, we need to remove the DHCP and make it static. That means static means the number will not change
Right.
randomly.
And you added manually the IP ADDR and the netmask?
Yeah. So these two items I add manually here. So it's already in the documentation also. So if you go into Nic Configuration, here I have it Nic Configuration how to do the. These are the basic things you need. If you are using a DHCP, these are the basic things. Okay, and if you're using the Nic bonding, this is what it is. And right here, I'll edit the document here to looks better here. If you want to make it a static IP, so these are the essential things you have, and these are the things you have to come up with. Hardware address, it may or may not require, but it is good to put in the hardware address. So we'll figure out the hardware address also. In here, I didn't put in.
So far, will we have to do the same thing for the secondary server?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
this
we'll
is
do it when we come to it, okay?
Yeah.
For the IP ADDR, do we choose the one that's already put there, or do we do the same one you put?
No. Look at yours here. You do get out of this, save and exit. Do IPA. And since we are configuring ENP03, ENP0S3, look for the IP address for that particular network card.
Okay.
And we are using this exact IP address here. Why this network card has 3 IP addresses here? Because if you go into settings here, we have 3 network cards here: adapter 1, adapter 2, and adapter 3. All 3 are active. Adapter 1 and 2 are internal, and adapter 3 will take us to the internet.
You said adapter 3 will take us to the internet?
Internet, yeah. NAT, whenever you see a NAT, how do you see this? It's starting with 10 IP address. That means it's a IP address coming from my router, the Comcast modem.
And 192 is what?
Mostly local. 192 is given out by your. If you go into your network settings here, the Windows network settings. If you go in here, properties, network and internet, network sharing center, change adapter. So there is a virtual one. There is a virtual network adapter created by VirtualBox. When you install the VirtualBox, the virtual network adapter is there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So once you're in there, you connect. It will start giving the IP addresses. So let's see here. If we go into the properties, and in here it is automatically using 192.158.156 dot, and then from here up until 255 it will give you the numbers randomly. So what you're doing is you're assigning the number static number so that it doesn't change.
So is that basically like us being on the LAN network, like the local area network without the internet? It assigned our
Yes.
computer IP address without
Very good.
internet. Okay,
Yep.
okay.
So if you take out the number third adapter here, you wouldn't be able to go on internet, because this is the one which is facilitating the connection between your VM and the internet.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Good. So now let's move forward here. So for this, go ahead and restart the system, because I want to make sure the static IP address is taking effect. So what you do is, while it's doing a restart, so these are the packages needed by DNS.
Which is Netmask was the same, right?
Yeah, Netmask is same, 255.255.0. Where do you see the Netmask here? Do you see it here? You don't see it here. The place you would see the Netmask is if you bring up and then you type ipconfig, and now most of the time this is the Netmask here.
Okay.
Subnet mask is the same thing as Netmask. Okay, so the system is rebooted. So the DNS, it just the development of DNS just didn't happen overnight. So it was trial and error, and the big breakthrough came from this University of California, Berkeley. They are the one who did some breakthrough for the DNS technology, and then they came up with this packages here. Okay, so bind, the name of the package is called bind. Why is it called bind? Because of they started using internally to the university, Berkeley Internet Name Domain. That's what it refers to. Okay, so here just we're gonna install three packages here: bind utils, and bind chroot. Okay, so bind utils and bind chroot. So let me highlight this here.
We're installing that now?
Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and copy, type yum install bind space bind hyphen util bind hyphen ch root, then hyphen y. That means you don't have to wait for it to say yes. Okay, go ahead and hit enter.
All right, now, Mr. Zafar, why do we do this, and what is this for?
We need a software. This is a package software that need to be installed.
Okay.
For us to enable setting up the DNS.
Okay.
So remember, we are using very bare bone operating system here. Okay, not everything is installed. Some of the things you need to install physically. So that's what we are doing here.
Okay, is this universal?
Yes.
For Linux? Okay.
If you have like a full version installed, it will just skip it. If it's already installed, it will skip it.
Mm-hmm.
Could you go over what each one of these does, like bind utils, and bind chroot?
Yeah. So what else this gonna do is it will allow us. So it will download the package here. So it will do a lot of things here. Like it will enable us to make a communication between the network, the host, and then it will also create this file here. Okay, and this file here also, is it the same one? Yeah, no, it's different one. So basically it's installing the package and configuring it so that our DNS will come up and be ready for us to continue configuration. So most of the time in the Linux environment, it's doing, when you're installing the packages, most of them are text-based, right? So it installs this here. I mean, it's installing the libraries. These are the things beyond this class. Yeah, I don't even know. These things are written in binary, zeros and ones. Okay? Mm-hmm. So as in our job environment, this is what you usually do. Is this is more into like a deep scientific area under computing. Okay, so but these are the packages. So
Mr. Zafar?
Yeah.
All right, so last night I was working on like packages, the yum and packages and RPM. I have a question about the dependencies. Like, what are they?
So what is a dependency means? Let's see, for example, when you're installing the Firefox, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here, Firefox is installed here.
Mm-hmm.
But the development of Firefox is, I mean, one person is not doing this here. All these things are being done by open community, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So everybody is contributing to it.
Right.
So if you, for instance, have written something and contributed to it, you will submit it to the Linux open source code, and then there are other experts who will review it, and then they will make it a part of it. Okay, so for example, if you go in here, Microsoft, it's like, think this of as a tree here. If you're installing one branch, that branch is dependent on other branches, right?
Yeah.
So there are some shared files between the application, as well as it's dependent on some other application. Okay, if you need this, you may not. You would need something else.
Yeah, like Task Manager.
Yeah. If you're installing a tire, you need a tire is dependent on a wheel, right? You need to have a wheel on the.
Yeah, the rim on it.
Yeah, the rim
that
wheel.
needs the bolt.
Yeah, the bolts. Then the wheel is dependent on bolts. and the cars. So all those things are like individual components, right?
Yes.
A tire manufacturer is not going to manufacture the wheel, the metal part, or the bolt. So those are dependent on each other. So that's what it is. I hope you get the concept.
Yeah. So when you install an application, basically it's like it also it updates like the dependencies and installs everything else that it needs in order to function.
So that's the beauty of Yum, is it automatically does it for you. If you're doing it RPM, then you have to go find the wheel, you have to go find the tire, you have to find the matching bolts.
Okay.
And all those things, it could be hundreds of them together. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So,
also, I wanted to ask you about the repos.
Yeah.
You said the Anaconda was a repo and the base was, I can't remember what you said.
Repository is a place you get the. It's a place where you get the packages from.
Okay.
So where do you see the repo?
It was on my like studies last night when I was studying, but I see it right there as well. So it's like the App Store, right?
Yeah, it's like an App Store. So where can you see that? You have to go into CD, etc yum dot. I typed wrong. etc yum dot repo, and if you go into C here, these are the different repository. Most of the time this is the one that is usually you are worried about. And if you look in here carefully here, what is happening here is it's actually going into, you see a mirror here, right? It's actually going to the outside internet location. You could definitely copy this and put it in a browser. It's just making a connection there. Okay, so you paste, oh, not that part.
इसका साइज बड़ा है साहब.
Okay, so if you go in here, mirror list. Okay, so let's see. This is size is 18 now.
नहीं वो गूगल का जो देख रहे हैं आप उस पे.
अच्छा.
वो ये यहाँ.
Okay, so it's actually going in here, right? So let's see if I could go there. So it goes there and then it goes into this location. And let's see here if this is the correct the mirror list. And no, let's go to this one here. So you see all these places where it's gonna go into the internet, and take a look here. So base URL is commented out. So let's copy this and paste here. Why is it
so
not
you think
showing?
that's where it goes to get the packages?
Yeah, the packages and updates. In fact, this is where something is released. This is where they will put it in here. Okay, so this is I'll show you because that one is not working. So it goes in here, and then if you want to download the ISO here, you click on the type you have, and then now you see like mirrors here. So all these are hosted by the trusted party, like a very big organization or university or non-governmental or government agency. Okay, so this one is heading to University of Chicago. Okay, so University of Chicago is a trusted source, so you could go ahead and download it from here. So it hits there, and if you wanted to download any of this, ISO means this is the file you would end up starting to download.
And these are like the trusted,
Yeah.
like trusted licenses, or like the people that have
trusted sources. Yep.
To change Linux, right? Or to
they are the one who are hosting it.
Okay.
And these are throughout the world here. So if you want to go like download here, and
didn't you say these before? You said these were the repositories.
Repositories. That's what it's called. Repo.
Okay.
Repository means a central location where you could go and download it from. Okay, so these are the other ones. This is University of Hawaii. This is Columbia. And see other full list. You go in here. And okay, so if you are in South Africa or something, you go in here. And so it looks like it's an internet company here. So, but look at the mirror here. Okay, so it went into this place here, myfahim.com. I don't know what that is. So look in here, you could literally download 2.1 version all the way to 8. This is if you want to go like primitive Linux. They don't have the ISO version. But anyway, if you're installing it, it's hitting the trusted source here, okay? And Red Hat, if you're using the Red Hat version, then Red Hat has its own repository. It actually comes from Red Hat directly. Okay, so let's move forward here. So the next thing, once this is installed, okay, so it installed the package and this was the dependency it needed. So it automatically installed. Oh, okay, these are the dependencies. So this operating system, either Windows or Linux, it's work in progress. As the work is being done, they started to release new versions, okay? That's why you hear if there is a breach or something they don't know of, they'll fix it right away and then release it, because it's actually a work in progress. No software so far has been without any risk. It's not robust. All right, so the next part is telling us to edit the network file here. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to say vi etc sysconfig network. That file is there now. And then there is nothing in there. So delete the line and put it in there. Uppercase networking equals yes, lowercase yes, and uppercase host name equals, and the lowercase is. Okay, so let's make sure we have the correct host name. So I'll copy this and then you go back in there and put it in there, okay? Okay, that's all you need in there.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Okay, I see. Networking.
Yeah.
You wanted us to delete the part where it said created by Anaconda?
Yeah. Anything you have in there, just delete that and put in exactly the way you see it here. And make sure, are you guys using DNS primary zmpt.com just like me?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So make sure you're typing exactly the way it is.
Well, Mrs. Zafar, I have my own host name, like my own.
Yeah, type your own host name. Make sure you keep track of that.
Yeah, I didn't put ZMPT.
Let me know when you guys are caught up.
I'm caught up.
You're caught up?
as well. Yes.
Okay, good. Alright, so I'm gonna save and exit. Now the next file we need to worry about is VIETC hosts. Okay, so okay, here also I'm gonna change it to 156, the one, what is the number we are using? 112, 112. Okay, your number would definitely be something else. Alright, so let's go into VI etc hosts. It's a name of a file. In here, if you see anything in there, delete it and then put it in 192.168.56.112. This is what I'm going to put in here. And then a space, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to type DNS primary.zmpt.com. Make sure I'm putting in the right same exact one. So most of the time I do host name and copy this. And so between the IP address and host name, give it a tab. So this distance is about 2 spaces. So push a tab, then it will, then you could paste the host name in there.
So not space, but tab?
Yeah.
You want a space before, after the IP and DNS between that?
Here, do a tab.
Okay.
Like this.
Mr. Zafar, I put Ansible. I didn't put DNS for the host name. Is that okay?
No, it doesn't matter. I mean, whatever your host name is, that's what I meant.
All right, cool.
Let me know when you guys ready.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm ready to.
Okay. So save and exit. Okay, now the next file we're gonna mess around is vietc name.conf, okay? So I'm gonna say vietc named.conf and hit enter. Okay, so this file is a mess. So come in here and you see the port number is 53 here. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna add in here. So the IP address I'm using is 112. Okay, so let me go in here. Alright, you have to be very meticulous here because if you don't give space where it's supposed to be and all that, it's not gonna work. In here, just like that, type 192 your IP address .168 dot no, I'm pushing comma, it's dot 168 dot 56 dot 112 and a semicolon. Okay, there is no other spaces there. Okay, so you look where the highlighted one is. You have to put that one there.
Is that a tab or a space?
Space.
Okay.
Same thing with the local host. 192.168.56. This one is 0/24. It's going to be the same thing for you guys. Okay, so whatever this part is, whatever first three octet is going to be same thing, then dot 0/24. Okay.
So this is
yeah, go ahead.
So after your 127.0.01, after the semicolon, did you put a space or a tab there?
Right here.
Before 192.
Right there.
Yes.
It's a space. Put your IP address there. You ready?
Yes.
Okay. Give me 1 second. Okay.
Mr. Zafar,
Yeah.
did these files that we're editing come with the download?
Yeah, when you did the package install, this is what it did.
So that bin, all these came from that?
Yes.
All right, cool.
Okay. Did you guys make this entry here? On this line, come down, leave everything else the same. Come down here and make this entry. It's almost the same thing here. But this part, just type 0 there, /24. Okay? Can I proceed? No? Hello?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. All right, let me proceed. We'll come back here again, okay? Just for now, save and exit. Okay, so looks good. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to create a forward lookup zone here, okay? So we're going to go into this CD /var/named. This is the folder we're going to go in there first. And I'm going to do ls. So we have a template file here. The template file is known as name.localhost, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this CP and then I'm going to name it forward. You have to name it forward, FORWARD .ZMPT. Why ZMPT? Because we are working with the name domain zmpt.com. See right here. Okay, so once this part is ready, let me know. This part.
So far, do you want us to go to the root?
No. Go to this part here, cd/var/named. Go to this folder.
Even after we do the, so you don't want us to change back to root before we copy it?
No. You don't have to worry about that.
You don't have to? Okay, because I always thought that in order to make like a big change in Linux, you had to go to root and get out of the file first, but that's not true, right?
No, that's where your skills for absolute path and relative path comes in. You just have to know where you are and where you're going. So even though we were in a root here, if we would have did pwd here, we would have been /root, okay? But from there we jump from root directory to var/named. So just type this command here wherever you are, then do ls. You should have this file there. Name.localhost.
I just wanted to make sure we can make like a command like that in the name named.
Yeah, you don't have to come into the directory here. You could run the command from wherever directory you are on. You just have to know the location. the path.
Okay. Yeah. Is that the same concept for everything? Like,
Yes.
It doesn't matter what file you're in?
Yes, true.
Okay.
You could be anywhere, so that's where your skills for absolute and relative path comes in. You have to have a good understanding what you're exactly doing with the absolute path and relative path.
You said absolute part?
Absolute and relative path.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if you go to in here basic commands, so I talked to you about the relative path and the absolute path.
Right.
Yeah, so you have to have a good understanding of the relative path, and anything that starts with a /, this is a absolute path will start from the beginning of an operating system, and the relative path is wherever you are from.
So does it differ for certain commands? Because like, if you do touch file 1 in Black Hat, it'll create that folder in.
Yeah,
Black
it
Hat.
will differ. If you're creating a relative path, it will differ. So if you're doing the red hat, white hat here, this is a relative path because red hat is the place where you're going down on the path you're already in. And this one is starting from all the way from the operating system, the very top root directory. You're coming down from there, and then you're using the same path here. So it's either you could use this here as a relative path because you already knew that, or you could use the absolute path because you you also know where the absolute path is. Absolute path have to start with /root.
Okay, so there's a difference. Like if I wanted to use absolute path but go into Black Hat, I would just put /root first and then go into Black Hat, or
it doesn't matter root. It just in this scenario it just happened to be that Black Hat happened to be inside root inside Red Hat. What if it's somewhere else? You could still go there. If it's not in root, you have to know where the location of that particular folder is. So for example, yeah, go ahead.
So for that example you were showing where Black Hat was, do you have to put in Red Hat, White Hat, then Black Hat, or can you just do CD Black Hat / Black Hat?
So if you do Black Hat, right? If you do PWD, and which directory are you in right now? So this is the output. Which directory are you in right now?
Right now you're in Black Hat.
You are in Black Hat. Very good. But the full path of the directory you are in, the absolute path is this is the absolute path of your existing directory.
Okay.
When you do PWD, it always shows you the absolute path.
No, I was saying in root and you wanted to go to Black Hat, you wouldn't have to write it all out, right? For Red Hat, White Hat, and then Black Hat, like up above, you wrote it out: CD Red Hat /what
No, you don't have to. So if you are standing in Red Hat, and if you want to go to Black Hat, what you have to do is CD White Hat /Black Hat. So right now you're here. You're above Red Hat. So in this example, if you want to go to Black Hat, you are in actually root. Okay? So Red Hat is Red Hat right here. White Hat is White Hat here. And the Black Hat is Black Hat here. So since you're already in root, what you're using is this is a relative path. If you want to use a absolute path, you could definitely do that. /root /Red Hat, White Hat, Black Hat.
So the difference between relative is me putting whether I put /root before the path or not.
So the difference between whatever your root in, you going down the path, that's a relative path. Absolute path is you're starting from the top directory. So let's look at the directory structure here. So here you are in root here, right? Where is root? In root here you have white hat, black hat, right? So you're already standing here. So you're going down the path. But that doesn't have to be the case. You could still start from top and then you come to your own directory and then go down the path.
But for relative, when you were in Red Hat, you don't have to put down / white hat / black hat. You can just do cd / black hat, right?
So you have to remember what you're doing here. So where are you right now?
Red Hat. If you're in Red Hat, trying to get to black hat.
So in this case, you just type cd white hat / black hat.
So you have to include white hat?
Nope.
Okay.
If you are right now you are here. This command is running from here. So if you want to go into black hat while standing in red hat, you just type this part.
So you need to include the white hat to get to black hat.
Yeah. If you are, so this command is being ran because you're in this directory right now. Right now, this part here, you are here right now, and you want to go to black hat. So obviously you go to red hat, white hat, and black hat. So you type red hat, white hat, black hat.
Because it's a relative path, right?
It is a relative path. Yes.
Now,
it's already in your path.
Okay. So absolute path is different because you can be in black hat and go to root hat by putting, and you can skip over white hat by just putting / red hat.
So no, you still have to give the path here, right? If you're giving the path here, you're skipping over, but you're telling the things to go from here, here, and here, and go in here.
But absolute path, we started in black hat and we put cd root / red hat. So we skipped over white hat going backwards. If you go to absolute path.
So we use the absolute path to go back. Yes.
Yeah.
We use the absolute path to go back. Or else you could have done cd ... Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
It will take you one directory up. If you're standing in here, cd ... cd ... cd ... then it will take you back to wherever the directory you want to go back up to. We'll do a session for this. Today after the class, we'll do a 5-10 minutes. You share the screen. I'll tell you what you have to do. Okay.
Okay. Because I was really just trying to figure out why we were able to do that command in the named.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we can do it after. Thank you, Mr. Zafar.
Sure. So we copied this, and if I do ls here, and now I have a new file forward.zmpt. Now I need to edit this file here. So I go vi forward.zmpt. Okay, so now the spacing is really important here, guys. So look exactly the way it is, you have to type it, okay? So you go here, you leave everything else here, and this part is going to be DNS primary .zmpt.com and a dot. In this scenario here, there must be a period here. Okay? And then give it a space there. Then type root.zmpt.com. Okay? And a period. You must have that.
So you have to end end the command with the period.
Yes. And here, instead of 0, just make it 1. Everything else remains the same. And then come down to this line here. Okay, so after H, you have a parenthesis, right? Get rid of this parenthesis here. Just backspace. And then on the new line, tab over, and when you come to right under 3, put a parenthesis there.
So go to the end of minimum and enter.
Yeah. Make sure you remove it from right next to H.
So you want to
Yeah, go to minimum and hit enter. A new line will come up. Push the tab key this time.
And then enter again.
Yeah. And now get rid of these 3 lines. D, 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 D. So we are in a new line here, right? So you have to push add, tab.
So you want us to remove the NS and all of that down there?
Yeah.
Tab twice or no, just once?
Once. And type NS, capital letters. NS stands for name server. And then you could copy and paste this part here. So that is the phone book has its own number saved in here. Okay, it's like saving your own number in there. This is the hardest part. Once this is done, everything else will be much, much easier. And then give couple space here and type DNS primary, nothing else, and a tab, capital IN, tab A record, capital A, tab, then you give 192.168.56.112. Okay, you gotta be careful with the IP address here. You have to give 112.
Ansible primary tab.
Could you explain what this is doing? This is a phone.
It's making a phone book entry, name, and it's doing the IP address. So if it was your cell phone, the primary DNS would be the name, and then the phone number would be the IP address.
So why on the bottom line is it just DNS by itself?
I didn't hear you. Say that again, please.
So why on the last line is it just DNS primary by itself?
It's just the regular name. It's not the full name. It's a short name. So when we're gonna come back here and make more entries for the other servers, this is how we're gonna be using it, the short name. Because up on the top here we gave here the full name of the domain.
So you just don't include the domain name.
Correct.
And so we can just save and exit now?
Yeah, save and exit. I'm gonna do that too. Okay, now we're gonna copy the file we just created and we're gonna name it a reverse lookup, okay? cp forward.zmpt, then name it a reverse reverse.zmpt and hit enter.
We have to go back into name.
No, you are already there, aren't you?
Oh, we're already there.
Do ls there. Copy the forward.zmpt and copy it to reverse.zmpt. So now you should have another file name reverse.zmpt.
And we won't have forward.cmpt anymore.
Yeah, we will. What do you mean? We're copying it. We're not doing move. When we do move, you won't have it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. I thought I did. Okay, my named localhost is still there.
So if you do ls here, you should have forward as well as reverse. So we're gonna go into reverse and make changes now.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go into vi reverse. Okay, so if you look here, everything mostly remains the same here. And okay, add a new line in here, okay? The new line in here, you just type 112. Why are you typing 112? Because you're typing, this is the IP, the last octet of 112, because this part 192.168.156.0, this is why we put it ./0/24 up here. So it's gonna autofill that part. So in the reverse lookup zone, in here we're gonna type only 112 and a tab, uppercase IN, tab, PTR. PTR means pointer. Tab, and it's gonna, where is it gonna point it to? Now you have to give the full name.
Will the 112 be different for us?
It will be your own IP address. Don't be using mine.
So just use our last three, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So put the last three. How many times did we tab? 3? Or does that matter?
It's a tab in here. So one tab here, and tab here.
No. From the first DNS in the whole IP address, and then you enter 3 times and put the last 3.
Yeah, the third one.
Is that supposed to be in our first, in our forward ZMPT?
No, you are working on the reverse now. Don't mess up with forward.
But was that supposed to be in the forward? I may have missed it.
In the forward, this is what it should look like. No, in the forward, this part would have been there. So you're not messing around anything in the forward.
Okay. So
this part is already in there. So in reverse, this part, you're adding this part.
Okay. Yeah.
So the reverse lookup is, it's using, you could find out the IP address using the IP, or you could find, you could find out the IP address using the name, and you could find out the name using the IP address.
Okay.
That's what it is. Reverse means using the IP address, and forward means using the name. Okay, so we are done here. So save and exit. Now it says we need to go back into name.conf file again. So I'm going to go to vi name.conf. So name.conf file is somewhere else. Where is name.conf? It's in let's go to cd/etc, okay, /named.conf. In fact, don't do cd, do vi. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Are you done with reverse name, reverse file?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, so wherever you are, do vi etc name.conf. We are using the absolute path here.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you. Is that an absolute?
This is an absolute because we are somewhere else and we are using, since we already know what's the absolute path here, we are using the absolute path to go in there.
Okay.
Now scroll all the way down here. So we were in here earlier, made the entries here. We made this entry and we made this entry. Okay, so we're gonna go all the way down. Okay, so it says here, copy these lines and paste it at the end of the line. So copy these lines here, zone, wherever the zone is starting from, and this part here, okay? Copy that and go all the way down here. Don't delete anything. And put like hash here, bunch of hashes here, so that you know this is something you did here, and paste it in there. So you copied this line here and paste it down on the bottom, okay? Then we're gonna make some entries. So here, come down into zone between this double quotes, type zmpt.com. Okay, leave everything else untouched. And type, instead of hint, type master, master. And in here, delete this part and type forward.zmpt. So this is the name. This is the name of the file we messed around earlier. Forward.zmpt. Okay. Go ahead and copy this line again here and put it on the bottom. And in here, we're gonna type it out reverse.
Did you put a couple of spaces in between?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Spaces are fine.
It doesn't matter.
You mean the lines here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that part is fine. In here, type 56.168.192.in-addr.arpa. Okay, this ARPA, I will tell you what ARPA means.
Are we doing ours or yours? Like
you do yours. IP? Okay, so look at this closely here. You have 192.168.56, right? Type it out. Leave out the last octet and type it out reverse. Okay?
But that's yours, right? So
this is mine. Ours? So yours will be what yours will be, if it's starting with 192 will come in the end.
Yeah, mine is 192, 168, 1.
Okay, so you would be 1.168.192.
Okay, cool.
And dot Everything else, type it out exactly the way you see it. And then the file name is going to be reverse.zmpt.
And you said ARPA was.
ARPA is coming from the ARPANET, which was a design, which was invented by the Department of Defense. ARPANET. If I go in here, the US military has come up with a lot of technologies too. ARPANET. Okay, ARPA stands for Advanced Research Project Agency Network. Before we even have access to internet, the military has internet. That was back in 1960s, and they released to public in 1969. A lot of things are interdependent here. You just don't, I mean, you don't have to worry about too much.
Mm-hmm.
So what is type master?
Type master is the primary. This master, unfortunately in in technology they use master and slave. I really don't like those terminologies. How they use like master and slave. Is master is the, I prefer to say primary and secondary. But here, the server we are running, the primary server is a master and the secondary server is going to be a slave. So the DNS works in combination of two different servers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when the network traffic hits, it will hit either the master or the slave, primary or the secondary. Mm-hmm. So since we are working on a primary server, it's a master, so give it master here. When we're going to work on the secondary, it's going to be slave.
Okay.
Oh, okay, I see. So basically, we're configuring the DNS servers to take on incoming traffic.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is very well guarded here. If you bring down the DNS, the company basically will be bankrupt.
Yeah. My brother said people get fired all the time when you make mistakes.
In DNS?
Just period. Like he said, if if Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or something goes down, somebody usually gets fired.
Yeah. It's a big deal, man. I mean, don't mess around. I'm telling you, unless you don't care. Then there is something called change control. Okay, if you making changes in there is a system called change control. You open a ticket and it gets approved by higher level, and when you're actually making a change, you're not going to be there alone. There are people going to be there with you. So they're making sure more than one set of eyes are watching what you're doing.
Yeah. And you're doing like testing. You're not doing just straight production all the time.
Yeah, true.
You should have some safety nets.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So now I'm gonna save and exit here. Okay, this part here, it says to stop the firewall here. So let's do that here, because normally you don't stop the firewall. You create a hole inside you open the ports inside the firewall here. Normally this part you work with network team. Okay, so let me make sure I have everything covered here. Here I'm going to say 112 because that's the IP address of mine. Okay, so go ahead and stop the firewall and in fact disable it. So the firewall is disabled. and check the status of the firewall D. So I'll give you time here. So these are the commands. Systemctl stop firewall. Okay, I'm gonna give the spaces here so that you could type it out. Okay, let me know when you guys are ready.
Yep.
Okay, so now I'll follow the document here. So let's do now we need to enable the service here. The name of the service is named, NAMED. Like firewall, these are so many services running, right? Now I'm gonna enable the service. I'm gonna start from the fresh line. So I'm gonna set a systemctl start name name.d, not .d, just d. That means start the name daemon, and I'm gonna enable it so that if the system reboots, it will come back up again. And let's go ahead and see if the service is running. Type ps-ef and grep for named. So this will tell you if the service is running in the background, and it is. So service is running in the background. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the group ownership. We're gonna change the group and ownership of these files here and the folder itself. So type ch group named, and we are giving the group ownership to the name folder named, and then it's gonna do this. Okay, and then this part, change the ownership, ch own, and then we're gonna give the ownership here. Change the ownership.
What does the -r stand for?
Recursively. Or it has to be capital R. Ch own, that means inside everything inside that folder or whatever that thing is. Recursively means full give it a full authorization or change the ownership.
Capital V?
Yeah. No, lower V.
Lower V?
So it changed it, but it's gonna give us the output here, what it did. Ownership of, since I already ran this here, it wasn't necessary. So what you could have done is -R, capital R, and V. So it retained it. So actually this is the correct
So what does the V stand for?
verbose. Verbose means it will give you the output. Actually it will give you, over here I ran this here, right? It didn't tell me exactly what it did. But here if you type V here, it tells you what it did. It would have been a different message here. The ownership has, instead of saying changed, retained, it would have said changed as root and named.
Can you put that like as a side note on the command?
Yeah.
Wait, how come it didn't show that first?
I should have ran it together.
Oh, okay.
V is verbose. And recursively meaning all.
So what did we change the name of?
So what happened actually is when we installed the application, it created the if you type ID name, I think it created the group. So what I did was cat etc group. Over here, when we did the yum install named, yum install bind and all that, it created a group in here, okay? So we are authorizing that group to utilize those files. And cat etc password, let me see if something was... Okay, yeah, so there is a named file, a named user as well as named group. So you have to reconnect this with the user administration. A user doesn't have to be a person, it has to be a service also. A user could be a service.
So we're changing ownership of this file or package?
Yeah, we changed only the group ownership.
Mr. Zafar, that's etc groups.
Yeah, cat etc groups.
Okay.
But we changed it to root and named?
The owners was a root also. We just kept it that way. And I
So we
changed the ownership and the group to named.
Okay, what was it originally? Did it not have a group?
It would have probably root.
Oh,
This
okay.
part would have been, the group would have been root.
Okay. And then to change the group, you have to include the path, right? So etc name.config.
Yes.
Okay.
Here we are giving the named folder, the named ownership, and then the named config single file, the root as the owner, and the named service as the owner too. So in here, it's a good time to make some notes in here.
So what do you mean by the named service?
The service, the DNS, when the DNS is going to run, there must be a service running in the background, right? The name of that service is name. Okay, it's just silly. They should have come up with something different. So the name of the service is named. Okay, that the D is coming from daemon. Okay, I think I explained you what a daemon is.
DAEMON.
Yeah, DAEMON. Password boot user. I think it's in here. No? So it must be here. Okay, daemon is a background process in Linux that runs in the background. Almost all daemons have name that ends with .d with D. Okay, so in this example, SSH, and it's a service running in the background. The D is added to it, so it's called daemon.
Okay.
So the name is the service of the DNS, and named is the name of the service.
Okay, so I get what you're doing with change group, chgrp named -r. So you're just changing the name there for the group name.
Yeah,
And when
R
you
means recursively means all the files inside that folder.
Okay, and you also gave /var/name to show the file path where named is.
Yes.
And then for chown, you're changing the ownership, like writing it as root first. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
And then showing the /etc/name.config, that was showing the file path to do what?
So the named group is going to be in here, the owner is, the single file owner is the root, and then the group owner for this file is named. So since the named would be the part of this group here, so he will be also be the owner here. So the owner for this file is root as well as named.
Yeah, I was going to say, so does that mean that,
That's what it
the
means.
root owns that group as well?
Okay.
So the group ownership, and remember when we did the terminator, even though terminator may not be the part, terminator may not have access to the file here, but if he's a part of a group, then he gets access to it. Did you get it?
No, I'm just not getting the part where you wrote down /etc/named.con.
So this is the single configuration file. So what we're doing is this configuration file, we are giving access to named for a group, and a root was already there. So I just put this down here so that there is no confusion.
Oh, okay, for that file, you're giving the ownership to named.
The group ownership to named. So if you are as a Burhan is part of a named group, you will have access to it.
And then for the file variable /named, you change the group to named over there as well.
Exactly. So in here, if we go in here, everybody in here would have a group ownership as named here. So let's go into cd/var/named, and if you do ls-l in here, look at this, particularly this file here. We created this file as root, but the ownership is named here, and this file here. Root is the owner, and then named is the group ownership.
Okay, so the chgrp was to change every file in there to the named group.
Yes, sir.
So wait, Mr. Zafar, root owns the file, and the file is in the named group. But for dynamic and root, or no, for dynamic and data, named is the owner and it's in the named group.
Yeah, those were created by when we installed the bind application.
Yeah.
That's when it's called here. So it's keeping that, because these are directories actually.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, these three are directories, and this one is directory too. We're gonna come back in here for slave. So Now,
So we don't.
once we did this here, it's keeping that, and recursively it's doing this thing as here. But let's look at the LSF and LD for that directory.
So, Mr. Ron, no one really owns the group named except for root in the group.
So the named group is the group, and whoever is in that group will have access to it. Who is in that group? Who is in that group? So what you could do is cat etc group. So in that group is so this is the group here, right? And if you do ID named, this is the, you have to remember this. Once the user is created, it also creates a group with the same exact name.
Right.
So the user named is part of this group here. So he will have access.
Okay.
Don't get confused between the service named and named the username named. So those are two different things here. They should have named this something else here to remove the confusion. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So basically, we just changed the permissions for who can access the files.
Exactly. Now that service is going to run in the background because that service need the access to that file to read through it. Then it will allow it to do its job.
So if we change the permission of that entire directory, why did we need to change the groups too?
Instead of giving the access to the name itself, we gave access to the group. In turn, it will, this ID user will get access. So in reality, giving the access to the group is a safe way than giving access to the individual user. Okay, so then that user have to be part of that group to have access. So there is a second layer of security there. So you are Burhan and you have access to the building, right? So there are two buildings. You have two buildings, one in Oak Brook and in Schaumburg for your company. And if you want to have access to the both places, what your company does is they will put you into the building group which have access to both groups here, and they put you in that group. So once you go into that building, you have access to that building, and then you have access to the other building in Oak Brook. Did you get it?
Yeah. So that's what chown is doing.
Yeah.
And then ch
No,
group is
chown. No. The chown is giving the access to the file, and this is a folder. This is a folder, and this is a file. So if you want to give the ownership here, okay. Remember, ch group and chown, you could change it You could use it interchangeably. Okay, but ch group is a safe way to give the group access.
And then chown is to change both the ownership and the group.
Yeah.
Okay. So you could have used chown instead of ch group before for the variable named group, right? File.
Yeah, I could have used ch group here.
You're just being more specific.
Yeah, but I'm making sure if it wasn't already root the owner, I'm making sure root is the owner here because you got to be careful sometimes.
Mm-hmm. So
Files
chown
like this,
overrides all of it.
Yeah, if you're running this command as a root, it will overrides that.
Yeah, and it makes root the owner of the group, and it makes.
Yeah. Let's take 5-minute break here, guys.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, we'll come back in 2:10. We'll come back at 2:10.
Okay.
Started now. So where are we here? Okay, so I'm going to clear this. Now, there is something called SC Linux. I will cover this a little later here. For now, let's just run this command. This is another topic I have to cover this. For now, just go ahead and run this command, and then what we'll do is we'll test this out. Okay, now what we're going to do is check the forward and lookup zone. So when you run this command here, forward, named, NAMED. You guys hear me, right? NAMED
Yes.
hyphen check zone, named hyphen check zone. Okay, we are checking zmpt.com, and we are checking this against var slash named slash forward dot zmpt. Okay, you should get this here okay message, which means it's working. And then we're gonna do this same thing for reverse. Okay.
Mr. Zafar, are we following you now?
Yeah.
So you're supposed to get a zonezmpt.com/in.
Yep.
I got loaded serial 0, not serial 1.
Did you get okay?
Yes, I got okay.
Okay, what about you, Austin?
I haven't gotten that far yet. Almost there.
Yeah, the serial number you didn't change it. That's why it's a 0 here. So I'll tell you where to change the serial number.
It's named check zone.
So should I do the reverse.zmpt yet too, or no?
Yeah, do that too.
Okay.
And it will probably say loaded serial 02.
Var name.
That says serial 0.
Yeah.
Reverse.cmpt.
Yeah. Remember these names here. This is not new. These are the files we played around, right? We created these.
Yeah, I remember. I couldn't see.
Var slash name slash reverse, and then push the tab key. It will autofill it for you.
Mm-hmm. And then enter. Yeah, I got serial 1.
Okay. So for you, what happened is go into VI PWD var slash named. Are you there, Burhan?
For me? Okay. I'm in, /var/name.
Yeah, so do VI forward and hit enter there. So what you missed here is if you see serial here, it's probably 0 there, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so make it 1. And do the same thing for reverse too. Then run it again.
Okay, so should I do the
Yeah. Name check.
name check? Okay, yep, I got serial 1.
Okay, good.
So this is just a check, right? This is not actually doing anything? Or
No,
is it-
this just checked. So far, we're just checking what we have done. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we'll go back to our original internet file here, enp0s3. Okay, and then we're gonna add some entries in there. Clear vi/etc/sysconfig network script. And then ifcfg enp0s3. Okay, and in here I'm gonna add DNS equals, and it has to be in quotes. 192.168.56.112.
So it's vi/etc/sysconfig and what else?
Whatever that your name is, enp0s3. This one here. Which file did you edit it earlier to make it static file? Static IP address?
It was the same one, enp/os3.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and go in there and add in the bottom the DNS equals. I'll type 192.168.56.112.
Mr. Zafar, can you put like new entry beside that?
Yeah, in here, put a new entry here. It's the highlighted one. You should know if it's highlighted, then that's what it is.
Okay.
So you're just putting the same thing that was in your IP ADDR.
Yeah, you're just adding that line in there.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, save and exit. Then go to vi etc resolve.conf. So in here, you guys would have something from Comcast. What do you have in there?
Yeah, FiOS router.
Yeah, so for that, we may have to come back here a couple times. In here, name server 112. In fact, just leave that alone in here, name servers, and give it a tab there, and type 192.168.56.112. Mine is 112. Whatever yours is, just put it in there.
You did 2 tabs or 1?
One tab.
It jumped a lot further than mine.
Yeah, same.
So what happened?
Yours jumped a lot further than ours. It just gave us basically like a space.
It's fine. As long as it's a tab, it's fine.
Does it matter if there is multiple tabs or?
No, it should be only one tab. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, just one tab is fine.
No, I'm saying like if we put more, will it mess up anything or no?
I don't know. Just put one in there.
Mhm.
It might sometimes, you know. These files are very specific how that. It's like a scripting file. So.
Yeah, it's like how they want to be read. It's like,
Yeah. In here, I'm going to highlight the one we have already added here. See, the DNS server is automatically added in here. We never did anything to it, but it did that for us.
Mrs. Zafar, is this the difference between like public and private IPs?
Yeah, the private IPs are usually 192.10.172.
But for the DNS, like, does the DNS know the difference between like the first IP that we have up there for the name server and then the second one that we're putting in?
Exactly, very good. If you're gonna search for it's gonna go in the name servers. Yes, this is gonna hit the computer. Since my computer is shared, your first part will be different than mine here. What is your first part? Is it the 110 something?
No, mine is 192.161 and then 11. I guess that's my home router.
Yeah, that's your home router.
Okay, so that IP is for connected to our.
Yeah, that IP is taking you outside the local network. That IP is taking you to the internet.
And for after search, our thing is different too.
It will be. What is yours? Is it zmpt.com?
No, I have that, but before that, you have mshome.net. I don't have that.
Yeah, because my system here is. I mean, I have a little complex system set up here. If you go into network here, mine, I have a bunch of computers here, so. Okay, it may take a little while to do this here. So we'll get out of here. Save and exit. And now we're gonna test the primary. So dig. There is a utility called dig. It stands for Domain Information Gopher. Is a network administration command line tool for querying DNS names servers here, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna follow this here. I'm gonna type hostname, and then I'm gonna dig this here. Type dig, dig, and then hostname of your IP address, and hit enter.
Yeah.
Okay, so parse of this failed here. So I may have to go in there and then it may not be the here. It just need a space here, I think now. Give a space there, okay?
So no tab.
No tab.
If
Parse of etcresolve.conf failed. So.
Do you think we need the first IP address?
No, what we need to do is we actually need to enable the outside internet, disable the outside internet here. So
Okay, now from the error message, how do you know that?
from the error message,
It says
I know
prompt.
it's reading the resolve.conf file, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I go in here, what it's doing here is it has two searches in here, and it's going for the primary one, which is this one here. So most of the time in work environment, you don't have multiple things in there. You just have one stuff in there. So even if I delete this here, it will be automatically rewritten here. So this file is automatically rewritten by the router.
So you want us to remove that?
Yeah, go ahead and remove it. See, it's working now.
So the home router was interfering with
Yeah,
the command?
yeah. It's gonna interfere again because home router is a DHCP, Dynamic Host Control Protocol. It's constantly looking for its babies, you know. The computer for router, the computers are its babies. It's constantly looking out for its babies. And if something is not right, it's gonna re-enter that information in there. It's just a matter of time it will do it for us, okay?
Mm-hmm. And I remember you said the parse,
Yeah.
parse.
It wasn't able to separate. It wasn't able to. Parse means separate, actually.
Break. Yeah, separate. Yeah. So we had to separate the home router from the.
Mm-hmm. You can do it in the real world scenario. You can have either or. You cannot have two DHCP controlling the one host.
So do we keep search and name server there? We just remove the domain it's giving.
In the search, if you're using ZMPT, leave that alone, and then in the name server, give the IP address for the master DNS host. Yes.
Okay.
So, Mr. Zafar, we have to do all this before we even use it in order to control the other servers that we made?
Yeah. But don't worry, this you do it only once.
Yeah.
Every company you go there, it's already set up, unless they're doing a migration, and usually this is done as a project.
Okay.
And it's a high availability. It's called a high visibility project because even the CTO of the company would know what is going on with the DNS.
So we'll have like teammates and other operations.
Yeah. You will be working in team here. It's definitely not a one-man show.
Yeah.
Okay. So it wouldn't be as simple as this.
It would be actually simple. I mean, you would test it out. If the project kicks off, you would work with your teammates and then gather the requirements and do the basic setup like this. Okay. And once this is set up, the test is done. Then what you could do is so the hard part, once the hard part is done, the easy part is just making the entries. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'll show you what I mean here. You will, by the end of this, you will have like a very good understanding of what is actually happening here.
Okay. So basically, it's like it's like an assembly line. Like the network team does something, and we do something.
Yeah.
The test and production team do something.
Mm-hmm.
So now do you want us to rerun dig?
Yeah, rerun dig, and then I'm going to copy and paste it in here. The output.
So everything we just did, you said in an actual workplace there would be multiple people handling all this?
If it's a smaller place, I mean, any small place still have a team there. It's not like, multiple people would be doing, you would have like a manager, team leaders, all this, they'll be watching it. Okay. And if you're a senior, then you are the one who will be driving this. And then you do the test and all that before it goes into production.
Okay.
Okay, so when we did the dig, and this was the output, so it did dig and it went in for this name in here, and it went through all this and it found this information here. See, we gave the name here and it found the IP address for you. Actually, this is IP address pound 53 means. Hey, Austin, you heard Route 53 in AWS, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
That's
where it's
DNS.
coming from. This is where it's coming from. They took 53, the port 53 is connecting to and make it a Route 53.
Okay. Yeah, that's Route 53 is basically
DNS.
words for DNS. Yeah.
Yeah, let me show you. I have this here. I'm a DNS configuration. So you go into DNS here, right? So see, these are all the DNS configuration entries goes in here. It's much simpler, but in the background, this is what is happening, okay? Zones and all that here. It's okay.
Those are availability zones.
No, these are not available. These are hosted zones on Route 53.
Oh. Okay. So it's like the main DNS.
Yeah, the Amazon DNS is called Route 53 because they're using the port number. What is the port number we connect using SSH?
80.
No, SSH right here, 22.
Oh.
So the DNS connection 53. So that's what they took 53, and Route 66 is like the famous route in the US, right? So they combined those together and made a Route 53. So that confused people there.
So Mr. Zafar, for port 80 and port 443, what is that? That's you open those ports in order for the traffic to get to your DNS, right?
Each service run on a specific port. I think I told you SSH runs on 22. HTTP run on 80. HTTPS runs on 443. And so if I go in here, where did I put this information? In network. If you go to the end, in here, these are the ports which are used all the time here. So port 20 is FTP. We're going to configure that. Port 21 is FTP also. Port 22 is SSH. Port 53 is domain name DNS. Port 80 is HTTP. Port 110 is your mail. This is what Google is using. Network. So these are all the common ones. Port 443. If it's the website is secure, this is using port 443.
Oh, okay. So they're using port. Okay.
So we have the internet. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So there's a protocol in the port numbers. Every port number has a specific protocol.
Yeah, it is generally accepted. You don't have to use it, but that is what it's using by default.
Right. Okay. All right. I see. That makes sense.
So all these things is not controlled by Linux or Windows. It's controlled by IEEE. IEEE is I don't even know what IEEE is. You heard IEEE 102 and all this. These are the standards that this company, this a non-profit organization, they sets the standards. Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers, and they based out of in New York. And you could actually become a member. If something comes up in your mind, you think you could improve something, then you might want to patent it and then register with IEEE and do the demonstration, and they may actually make it official in here. So anything new technologies that is coming up, all those here, like for Bluetooth 2.0 or whatever that is coming in here, you developed it, and these guys will take a look and make it a standard so that it's all same across the world.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to configuring a DNS secondary DNS. Okay, so primary is done so far. So let's go back into this file here. Okay, so this is staying put here. Sooner or later it will get updated. Then we'll worry about at that moment here. Now we are let's switch gears. Let's come back to the secondary. This is DNS secondary, okay? All right, so in here I'm gonna use IPA.
Now, are we going to use the same?
Similar, not everything same exact.
No, not that. But are we going to use Impost 3 even for the secondary server?
Yeah.
Because they have two different IP addresses, so it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, just keep it as same across the board. You just use this ENP0S3.
Okay.
So in here, the IP address I'm going to put in here is this. All right, now this secondary doesn't need the other one. It needs only true. It doesn't need 3. So I'm going to clear this and let's install yum install bind and bind -utils utils-y. Okay, I'm going to hit enter. Okay, go ahead and do it on the secondary host.
And bind util. Mrs. Zafar, can you put next to that? Can you put like a DNS package?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so next step it says is to disable NAT here. I'm not going to disable. We'll come back to this if we really need to disable this. Okay. Now you guys already changed the name, right? DNS secondary. Hostname is already changed, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna skip this. So the secondary DNS secondary is zmpt.com. Okay, so let me clear this. And now we need to do the static IP. So vi/etc/sysconfig vi/etc/sysconfig network scripts ifcfg enp0 s3. Okay, so I'm gonna get rid of this here. Let's keep that.
And you is undo, right? Just you.
It will undo it for you. And the boot proto, you have to make it static. On boot, yes. Okay, IPADDR equals 192.168.56.114. I should have used 100 and 200. I don't know why I didn't do that. Okay, and netmask is going to be the same thing. Netmask most of the time is 255.255.255.0.
On the DNS primary, we changed the boot proto to static, right?
Yeah, in here too. Yep, you're changing static. In the real world environment, all the IP addresses are static, okay? I'll tell you a little later on, because when the application is running, it will be an ugly scenario when the IP address is changing all the time. All right, let me know when you guys are caught up.
Still doing the cleanup for still installing DNS.
I didn't hear you. What?
Mine is still doing the cleanup for DNS.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's kind of slow the second time around.
It wasn't slow the last time.
Nah, yeah, it gets slower as it goes on. I don't know why. My computer's pretty old.
Yeah, once this is set up, then we're gonna do Ansible, and you will see how beautiful the Ansible works.
Yeah. It's almost done.
Yeah.
Alright, so once we're done filling this out, let's do the save.
Yeah, save and exit. Laura, can you bring the vacuum down here? Okay. So this is nothing, but you have to go in here and refer here, network configuration, okay? So this is like a basic lines you need for the network to be up and running, okay? And explained you here what it means. DHCP means Dynamic Host Control Protocol. That means it's not static. The IP address is assigned randomly by router. Okay? So we don't want the IP address to be changing. That's why we are making it static.
If we wanted to change it back, would we have to put back in those lines of code we deleted earlier, or would it still work if we just change it to DHCP?
No, in reality, all you need is these 4 lines, 5 lines.
Okay.
Mr. Zafar,
Yeah.
do before we do the Ansible master, do we have to do system CTL network reset?
I don't know what you're doing there.
Because we're changing it from DCHP to static. Do we have to reset the network?
No, we'll do the restart.
Okay.
Yeah, make sure you're typing it correctly here. All this part on the left side is uppercase, and then everything else is lowercase.
Yeah.
Except Ethernet, you have to type capital E, THER, and I mean all those things are in place here. All you're doing is adding these 2 lines here and getting rid of things you don't need.
Okay.
Okay, so you save and exit. Okay, and the next thing I have here is we're gonna make the network file entries here. So I'm gonna say host name, and then I normally copy this vi/etc/sysconfig and network. Okay, in here delete everything in there, paste networking equal lowercase yes, and host name uppercase, and lowercase the host name here. Most of the time the host name is lowercase here. Okay guys, in just leave it outside. Yeah, so you don't have to worry about the proper English and all that here when it comes to commands and host name and IP addresses. So I'm gonna save and exit here. Now I'm gonna edit the host files, vi/etc hosts, get rid of everything else in here, and I'm gonna paste it in here, and the IP address 192.168 dot 56 dot 114 and a space or a tab. Was it a tab? Yeah, tab.
This is for the host, right?
Yeah, for the host file.
Can you put tab right there, Mr. Zafar, so we know?
Yeah. Okay, so let's save and exit and reboot.
Could you scroll up a little bit, please?
Mr. Zafar, right now my computer is stuck.
What? What is the problem?
After class, I don't know. It's still cleaning. It's still doing the cleanup, but I don't know how long that's going to take or why it's taking so long.
Clean up. Open another window while it's doing it. Open another window and then do these changes.
I can't. My computer is frozen.
Oh, the computer is frozen.
Yeah. Like I don't even know where my mouse is right now.
Yeah.
But I'll do everything after. What's the website name for this one? Because you know I have the one from the other class, but it's October 20.
Yeah, this is OCT 20. Yeah, right here. It's also in the. Whenever I send that the class information, it's in there.
Okay.
On the WhatsApp chat.
Okay.
So I think I uploaded the scripting, right? Even the scripting is there, and yeah, that's the only thing that was other than Okay, so I'm gonna log back in when the system is up. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do almost similar thing what I did on the primary master. So I'm gonna go vi etc named.conf. This is I'm editing the file here, not the folder. So in here at the end over here, I'm going to give a single space, then 192.168.56.114 and a semicolon, okay? And make sure if you have an extra space there, take it out. It doesn't need extra space. It won't work though, if there is one. And here again 192.168.56.0/24. And a semicolon. And instead of coming back to this file again,
can we wait? My thing just rebooting.
Yeah, go ahead.
Could you scroll up, please, on the Word document? Could you scroll up on the Word document, please?
Yeah. Right here?
Yes. For the one where the localhost is, we keep that the last one .0.
Yeah, .0/24. I'll show you where it's coming from. Let me open new window here. Oh, okay, it's not showing here though. Okay, so here it says /24, right? We get that part here. But in here, this part is same as this part here, the broadcast address. So I think I told you how many IP addresses there is in one network. About 256. One is reserved by the router itself. So start from 0. 0 is not given out. And in between here to 256, there are 255 IP addresses which are available for us. Okay, so in here is going to run through the query. Is going to run through this part, and then in here you could so this would be the starting IP address for this here. So you could have multiple entries in here. If you have a multiple network, you do multiple entries in here. Okay.
So what do you mean by if you have multiple networks?
So I think one time I told you about a subnet here. If we go into our network class, and so if we have a subnet here which is running on so most of the time you're gonna run out of at the 256 maximum, right? So then what will happen here is so in here you get 192.168.50 56, then 57.0/24. Then it will be another network here. This is one network, this is one network. So it's handling another subnet. I mean, there is a lot to it when it comes on the networking side. I cannot tell you or show you everything because honestly I don't know everything on the network side. Most of the time you will be working with the networking team, and networking team also have some knowledge of DNS. Okay, so if these are like other networks is gonna span over, you're gonna put semicolon and put something like this in here. It would look like this. And 57. Okay.
So this would to continue to increase from
Yeah.
750 and so on.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you caught up now?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna save and exit. We'll come back to this file again as we did earlier. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into actually, yeah, go ahead and come back in here and go down. Go all the way down. And copy this line and paste it in here. Paste it twice actually. So the first code line of code copied here. It's the same thing coming from the master zmpt.com. And then the files, instead of forward.zmpt, we're gonna add a /forward.zmpt. I'll show you where that is, okay, in a moment. And same thing here, 56.168.192. in-addr.arpa ARPA, okay? And in hint, make sure you're saying this is a slave server, SLAVE. Over here too, instead of master, it's slave. And here also, slaves slash reverse dot ZMPT.
On type, you typed SALD instead of SL.
All right, thank you. It wouldn't have worked, okay? If I have left this here, I have to go investigate what the problem was. Okay, so I'm gonna just eyeball it and make sure it looks good. In here, there is an extra line in here, guys. Extra line is, now we are telling the slave server where to look for the master. Masters, and then a curly bracket, 192.168.56.112. This is the IP address of the master. Same here to 112. Whatever your master is, you just gonna have to add it in here. And a semicolon and a semicolon after the curly bracket.
So we have to do that for the next one too?
Yep. This is painful only first time here. After when this is set up, you're all good.
Oh, for slave, do we have to put S? Slaves?
Yes, SLAVES. Because there is a folder named slaves in the master computer, master DNS. So I'll show you in a minute.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna save and exit. I'm gonna start the service. Systemctl start named, and I'm gonna enable the service when the system is gonna reboot accidentally. ENABLE named. Okay, you could check the status too. Systemctl status. So it's active and it's running and it's enabled. So let me clear the screen, and it says configure the Ethernet file again. So what we're gonna have to do is vi etc sysconfig network scripts ifcfg enp0s3. I'm going back into that file again. Now I'm going to make a double DNS entry here. I'm going to say uppercase DNS1 equals 192.168.56.112. Okay, and the second DNS entry, DNS2 You could have multiple DNS entries here. Most of the time I see 1 and 2 and 114. 114 is for the slave, and then 112 is for the master.
So we only have to do this on the secondary one, not the primary.
Now we have to do it on primary. We're going back there now.
Okay.
So the first one is for the primary, and then the second one is for the secondary.
Yep. IP address.
Okay.
And then go ahead and copy this. We're gonna put this in a resolve.conf file on the slave. So vi etc resolve. This is an interview question. Where do you put the host resolution file? Is resolve.conf. In here, I'm going to open new line, paste this, copy this. Okay, delete this part. Here, this is going to be without quotes. Space there. I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to delete this. Okay, it should look like this. Name server 192.168.56.112 is the primary and the secondary. Okay, now we're gonna disable the firewall. Normally you don't do it, but I'm doing it here. Just this is nothing. There is no production issue here. Firewall is stopped. Disable. So this will disable when the system reboots. Okay, so we are good there. Now we're gonna do the ownership.
So do we do firewall or firewall D?
Firewall D.
Okay.
Okay, now what we're gonna do is change the groups here again. And change the ownership. Okay, so the root is retained here because root was already there here. So let me go up here and copy the same thing from earlier.
So what are you doing now?
No, I'm just copying this part here from the other place. Okay, I just made it look good. Now the SLNX, I'm gonna cover this part later. So you type restore con.
How come this time it says it's still retained? Didn't you say it'll say changed?
It says retained, right? Because root is root in here. I'm just giving the root, making sure it is still keeping the root as the name here. But this part it changed.
Yeah.
Retained as root and oh. All right, I have to look into that here. Why it didn't change?
Okay.
Or maybe it has changed. The answer is coming after it was changed here. Okay, you never know. So I'm gonna run this command restore con.
So the R here doesn't need to be capitalized?
No.
So far, well, if I was to shut my computer down and restart it, will I have lost everything?
Probably not, because it was at the point it was cleaning it up, right?
Yeah, it was cleaning it up.
Yeah, go ahead and do it now while you do that.
Shut it down?
Yeah. Are you on a laptop?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, were you having problems already to begin with?
Yeah, like a couple days ago, I was trying to start all the machines for Ansible, or I was trying to clone them last week, and it slowed down and it froze, and I had to turn it off, turn it back on.
You have to make sure you just don't close the lid and make sure you shut it down the VMs.
Oh yeah, I close the lid all the time.
No, don't close the lid, man. I mean, shut everything, especially laptops. That's why I hate laptops. I got a bunch of laptops and I never use them. Make sure you're shutting these, virtual machines down.
Nah, I don't shut them down either.
Yeah, that's the problem, man. It's these machines are memory hog. They take up all the memories and nothing else will be remain there. You see, it uses CPU and memory and all that.
Yeah.
It's actively running right now.
Okay. Yeah, because when I first turn it on, it runs fine, but then when I start doing a lot, it just slows down.
Okay. So here we are done here. So what we're gonna do is let's go back to the primary master. Okay. So I'm gonna clear this host name. I'm in the primary master. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go vi var named forward.zmpt. Now I'm gonna make the entries here. Primary, secondary, DNS secondary, DNS tab, IN tab, A tab, 192.168.56.114. So this over here, over the time, this space will be expanded. All the entries will go in here. If you have like 1,000 servers, 1,000 servers information goes in there.
Oh, you did this back on the primary.
Yeah, you are back on primary now.
So just add it under primary, just add DNS secondary.
Yeah, second line.
Okay.
Leave everything else unchanged.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm gonna save and exit. Okay, I'm gonna go into the reverse lookup zone file. And for primary secondary master, I'm gonna say DNS secondary tab IN tab A tab 192.168.56.114. Okay, and then down here I'm gonna come here and then give the number here 114 tab IN. PTR stands for pointer. It's pointing to, where is it pointing to? The name DNS secondary .zmpt.com and a dot. After .com, make sure there is a period there. Okay, I'm gonna save and exit. Now I'm gonna do dig DNS secondary .zmpt.com. Okay, and
Could you hold on for 1 minute, please?
yeah, go ahead. In the meantime, let me check something. Okay, it's holding it. Okay.
So where you put 112, for me, I just have my last digit is 0.3. So should I just put 3 by itself there? Or?
Yeah, that's it. If it's 3, it's 3. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. So let's go ahead and test it out. There is a utility built in called NS Lookup, right? So I'm going to type NS Lookup. I'm going to type DNS primary.zmpt.com. Okay, and it's giving you the correct IP address. Server, server cannot find it. I know what the problem is. DNS. Let's try secondary. So what it need to do is a service need to be restarted here. Okay, normally it shouldn't happen, but I'll tell you why we need to restart the service.
You said which service is it running?
Yeah, named. So if you type history on the primary, the service we need to do is where is the service system CTL? Okay, so we're gonna run this service here named. Instead of start, we're gonna say restart. Okay, the service restarts. That means the new changes will take effect. Okay, now it's working. See, we typed we type DNS secondary DNS, and it's bringing our address back here 192.68.56.114, which is true. And primary, and it's jumping through the DNS servers and giving you the IP address in here. So in here I'm gonna say restart the service. So whenever the DNS is acting up, it's not working, restart the service, okay? Because we are not in a perfect environment here that it will not be without any glitch, but it will be. But for us in this process here, just do restart and it will give that to you, okay? Okay, now so let's go ahead and run this command on in here too, on the secondary master. So you do ns lookup DNS primary .zmpt.com. Okay, it found 112, and let's do secondary. It found 114. Okay, now where is this all coming in from is when we go into cd/var/named, you do ls-l. There is a folder in here called named, right? I mean slaves. You go into that folder, you do ls. Give me 1 second here. Slaves. Okay, you know what? We don't have to worry about this. We are done. So what we need to do now is we need to make the DNS entries, right? So I have here Ansible master here, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it on. Another 5 minutes, guys. We're done for today. You know, actually, let's stop it here today, and then we'll pick it up from here tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you show me?
Yeah, go
How
ahead.
do you forgot the name of the service that you set it? How do you go back to look at it?
Named service?
Yeah. It's like how we had it set as named.
So ps-ef, is that the one you're asking?
Will that show you what the service is?
Yeah, if you do ps-ef, it will show you all the services which are running in the background here. Okay, if you grep for named, then it will bring up named here. So if you do ps-ef grep named, then it will filter out the named and it will tell you the named service is running. And if you do SSH here, it will bring up the SSH services and tell you the service is running. And if you do systemctl status named, then you see the service is active and running.
So we set up all the DNSs on the named?
Yeah, named is the service which is running.
Okay. And so that's what we set it up on, correct?
Yep. Okay, that's enough for today. We'll catch it up tomorrow.
Okay.
Alright, so as soon as I'm done, I'll upload this and we'll go from there. Alright, everybody, have a good day. This is the longest class ever, I think. Alright, we'll catch up tomorrow at 3 p.m. for noon.
Okay.
Okay, bye.